It's on. D&D's on.
D&D's on.
TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
The whole world is here today.
And falling apart.
But it might not be here for long. Because it looks like the ban on TikTok is going to happen.
Who knows? Who knows? All right, everybody, we're here to answer your mortgage questions. What questions do you have? It could be programs, interest rates, down payment assistance. It can be how much down payment do I need? What credit score do I need? How do I get my credit up? What does it take to buy a house? What documentation do you need? Do we need to pull your credit? So whatever questions you might have, make sure you load up the chat box. We want to make sure that we get to every single one of you. So hang in there. If you do ask a question and we don't get to you immediately, we will get to you, even if we have to rapid fire to get there. So make sure you load up the chat box. Ask us the questions.
Things are not looking good in the economy, man. I'm going to be honest. Not yet. I'm going to be honest. Things are not looking good in the economy.
Yeah.
Things are like, it's a little scary.
I don't know if you know this, but I feel it.
Do you feel it?
I feel it.
I think
really
our borrowers feel it, man. Do you feel it from the flow of applications you're getting right now?
Yeah, not really, because
You're still pretty good.
We still get a good amount of applications. The difference is the people don't necessarily qualify.
Yeah, I get a lot of people that are just like, you don't qualify. The income isn't there. The income it's just.
But here's the good news. So we talked to a dozen people a week that don't qualify. Let's just say, okay?
Yeah.
So a dozen people a week that don't qualify. About 1/3 of them are actually going to do what we say to qualify. Dude.
It's on D&D.
Dude. So that 1/3 that are going to do something about it, whether it's fixing their credit, finding a cosign, or getting a down payment, whatever it may be, will be a homeowner in 6 months. Call it 6 months. 6 months is a good round number from crack credit to decent credit.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good amount of time to save some cash. It's a good amount of time to get things in motion. So
we got kicked.
Oh, dude, they kicked us. I hate getting kicked.
Can you still see us live?
Anybody out there, let us know. Look at that chat box, guys. We want to know what your questions are. We want to know what information you guys need to get you on the right path of home ownership. Or maybe just getting a job. Maybe it's just getting a job, guys. Maybe second jobs are necessary. Actually, I read an article on that. They talk about all the new jobs created. It's not necessarily new jobs created. Mm-hmm. It's mom and dad getting second jobs, third jobs in order to make ends meet because our economy sucks. Inflation's high.
Well, if you listen to the Biden administration, everything is great.
Hunky-dory.
It's hunky-dory.
You know
not
what's
just
not
dory,
factored?
hunky-dory.
You know what's not factored?
What's not factored?
Okay, let's say you have a loan officer, a bunch of loan officers, and a bunch of realtors that did really well over the past few years.
Okay.
Built a good savings.
Okay.
Although they're using their savings to survive, they're not counted as the unemployed.
Okay.
And that's thousands of people. Thousands. Cool your brews. How you doing, my man? How much down payment should I have for the current market? So down payment for the current market's a tough one. The reason why is because some programs have zero down. So you might qualify for that. But just getting in as a first-time home buyer, the guidelines say for a first-time home buyer, 3%. The secondary program, FHA, which is actually, I believe, the primary, 3.5%. So whatever purchase price it is, that's your number. So here's the math. 3% of 100,000, $3 grand. 200,000, $6 grand. 300,000, $9 grand. So just keep adding from there depending on your price point. What is your price point, Cool Your Brews? What are the houses selling for in your neighborhood?
CC, HOA, or no HOA? Ooh. Well, given the choice, no HOA. Given the choice. But you don't usually get a choice. I mean, you're like, hey, I like this new build community. Comes with an HOA. You got a choice. Like it, live there, get all the amenities. And then have to follow what the HOA says. Yep. Because the HOA is kind of like a little Gestapo that they kind of run your life a little bit. They kind of tell you got to cut your grass. Yep. They kind of tell you can't have this kind of tree. You can't have this kind of grass.
You can't paint your house this color.
You can't paint your house this color. Mm-hmm. You can't have this car out front of your house.
You want to put a new front door? Gotta ask.
There's this lawsuit going on where a guy parked an electric vehicle out front of his house and the HOA didn't allow it. What?
Well, not just that. You got a vehicle that you don't use every day?
Oh, yeah.
If you don't move that thing, you're going to get a little notice. You got to move that vehicle.
Yeah, and then you pay them to police you. So now there's an upside. if you don't want to live next to a guy with a car on blocks, well, there's the upside because they won't allow a car on blocks, and you also don't get to do your car. So if you get involved in the HOA, you can become one of the HOA members, and you can help vote, and you can help build the bylaws and so on and so forth.
Vote.
So the catch with HOA, if you want full freedom, no. But the truth is, once you get into a complex, you really don't have a choice. You just kind of don't have a choice.
So there's no right or wrong answer there. It's what do you want? What do you want? Because a lot of these new communities are coming with parks and pools and runways and walkways and driveways, all these different things.
Runways?
Yeah, green belts, so it looks prettier. It does. But you got to pay for it. And you got, like he said, you got to deal with the people that are saying, here's your notice, here's your notice, here's your notice, if you didn't pull your weeds 1 month.
And some of them get a little crazy with this shit, man. They're like, hey, I failed being a police officer.
Yeah.
I failed being mall security. I failed being my mom's independent bodyguard. So I did get a job at the HOA. I'm going to make up for all the failures with my ticket writing ability at the HOA. Here we go.
Well, let me give you my personal experience. Happened just last week. So fireworks going off in my neighborhood. I called the Gestapo of the HOA, and I said, hey, man, this is BS. He's like, I already handled it. I already pounded on their door and let them know. So shout out to that guy, because you get that guy in the community, all those ex-wannabe cops.
I got a few locked and loaded and ready to go. Ready to go. Why are all lots premium? You know what? Everybody's feeling the crunch.
All lots premium.
She says, why are
Why
all
are builders now considering, well, you pay that premium fee depending on where you live.
Because,
ask me how I know.
Yeah, because you don't get a choice. You're like, hey, I want to live in that lot. They're like, you got a premium lot.
Well,
so I'm going to add an extra 5 G's.
Here's what it is. So you pay for views and access. That's a premium lot. You pay for views and access. So I live on one of those.
Yep.
I don't understand why I pay more than the guy next to me, because he's not necessarily considered that.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Once again, like he just said, if that's where you want to live, you got to deal with that situation.
Builders are dirty birdie, man. They're the builders, and because they build the product, they kind of get you get the choice. You can play in their game or not. And if you choose to play in their game, you don't get a whole lot of say. There's laws on your side that will help you with certain things, like you can have a realtor, you can have a loan officer, you can have those things. But once you decide to live there, you've signed an agreement that says, I'm going to follow the rules, and if you say I pay extra, then I pay extra, and if I don't like it, I can move.
Yep.
And that's the ugliness of the builder world, I guess.
People do. They come in and they're like, F this, and they're out the next day. Flock you cheese. Hi, guys. What's up, man? Our girl, Cool Your Brews, promoting around 700 G's. Here's the good news for you, Cool Your Brews, is that LA County's loan limits are high. To be honest with you, they're high. You can get up to $1 million, I think $1.1 million home with minimum down payment. Yep. The other side of that is you got to be okay with an $8,000 a month mortgage payment, and the down payment, like I said, 3% of every $100,000. So in your situation, you're looking at a $21,000 minimum down payment for first-time home buyer. So hope that helps you. Cool Your Brews will not qualify for first time. Come on, man. You can do FHA. You can do FHA.
Yeah.
3.5%.
Yeah, and then have a little confidence. Let's try and figure it out. Have a little. By the way, first-time home buyer is only 2 programs: Home Ready and Home Possible. It is not 3.5% down FHA. That is not the first-time home buyer program. The only 2 programs, Home Ready and Home Possible, but technically they are first-time home buyer programs. Nobody uses them. I mean, like, rarely do we use a Home Ready or a Home Possible. Rarely.
Yeah, very rare.
3.5 every day.
But here's the reason why, guys. Credit sucks for a lot of people. So if you have the guideline for a conventional at 3% down is 620 credit score, okay? 620. As long as you don't have bad history, like no collections, no charge-offs, none of that derogatory, your credit will be fine. And then the other side is cash, okay? So you have the money in the bank for the down payment, for the closing costs, and maybe have a couple months reserves left over, you'll get approved. But most people don't have that situation. Most people are 600 credit score, so they're forced to go FHA, okay? So the first-time home buyer program is used very rare for those reasons.
CC, we want to buy a home, and we have bought our rate down to 4.99, but so many additional fees. So here's a question. If you're doing it through a builder, CC, if you're doing it through a builder, a lot of builders playing this dirty birdie game called a 2-1 buy down. Not really entirely dirty birdie, but the way they sell is dirty birdie. They're like, hey, you know, Current rates are 6.99, which is actually probably accurate right now. 6.99. But for you, CC, we're going to do special. We're going to give you 4.99 for the first year. And then the next year you go up to 5.99, and then the third year you go back up to 6.99. So 2-1 buy down. 2-1 buy down. So that's called 2-1 buy down. And it's very popular right now. And you don't know, but it costs you 20 grand or whatever. And that's not always the best way to use it, because according to the Federal Reserve, we are going to be going down over the next 2 years. Right now they're at a consensus. We're at 5.25%. They come together at a consensus around the end of 26-27 at 2.5%. That's a lot. That's a big drop. So while we believe the rates are going down, if you did a 2-1 buy down, you are absolutely going up.
Dang.
Think about that.
All right, time for commercial.
You need Badass Loan? Call a Badass Loan Officer. You can reach your Badass Loan Officers, Chris and Lee, at New American Funding. You can do that by calling the numbers on the screen. Don't call right now because they won't answer. You know why? Because they're live on their phones. Duh. Anyway, call after the live. This will disappear in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye.
Oh, yeah. Okay, CC, we want to buy a home, but we answered that one.
Yep.
Fuck you, Chiss. 690 score, 1099, 50 grand, and $15,000 payment. Is that 50 grand his income?
Don't know. 690 FICO. Okay, so 50,000, 1099, 50,000, 15,000. Okay, so your big catch is going to be your 1099, because you could have 1099 top line 50 G's, but we don't know what you bottom line. And this happens all the time. Here's what's really happening, guys. Pay attention to this because it's important. When you say, hey, Mr. IRS, federal government, hey, Mr. IRS, here's what I made. Yes, I made 50 grand, but I had marketing expenses and this expenses and paper is very expensive and I had to buy my clients lunch and so on and so forth. So Mr. IRS, I top lined 50, but at the bottom line only made 20 grand. Mr. IRS, federal government. All right, cool. IRS says, yeah, I know, times are tough. All right, you only pay taxes on 20 grand. Then you go to the bank and you go, hey, Mr. Bank, FHA, federal government. Trust me, bro, I made more than 20. I told them I made 20, but I made more than 20. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. We're the federal government too. FHA, Federal Housing Authority. VA, Veterans Administration. USDA.
United States Agricultural.
Close enough.
Department of Agriculture.
Department of Agriculture, yes. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac used to be independent agencies until the crash. And upon the crash, they became what? Government-sponsored...
GSEs.
Government-sponsored enterprises. They became government-sponsored enterprises. Federal government. So, when you tell the IRS you only made X, and then you tell the bank, trust me, bro, I made more, it doesn't work. So, we need to know, we have to see your tax return.
Mig T, what happens if they dissolved since 2009 and they fraudulently bonded your home in 2015? What does that mean?
What happens if...
Who's they?
I don't know. Yeah, who's they? And what do you mean by dissolve? And what do you mean fraudulent?
What do you mean
And
bonded?
and what do you mean 2015?
Mr. Big T, give us some more clarification on that question.
Yeah.
Cece's laughing.
Say.
Ooh, 670 credit score, combined salary of 175 G's. How much down payment do I need for a home of 550,000?
So, 175 puts you in that range. Pretty easy. Yeah, you're in that 670 credit. That'll work. That's absolutely, you're in the green zone. You are in the hot zone. 550, 35 grand? About 35 grand?
Yeah, that's down payment and closing costs.
Yeah, 35 grand down payment and closing costs. You're good to go. 35 grand, maybe a little bit less. We could probably get away with 20.
High 20s.
Yeah, 22, 24 grand. Somewhere in that range.
There's an anomaly that you're not seeing and we're not talking about, which is we're still in a buyer's market. So your agent could ask for closing costs, which brings that thing down to the low 20s.
Yeah, because straight math, you need $10,000 for every 300,000. So 600,000 would be 20 grand. But there's going to be some costs in there. Closing costs are going to cost you somewhere in the neighborhood of 8 to 10 grand, somewhere in that neighborhood. And that's why I said somewhere in the neighborhood of 22 to 35, somewhere in that range. But if you got that money, we're good to go.
Yep. Raul, if you're interested, you can go to the link in our bio right now. Click on apply for a home loan now.
When?
Now. Get the process started. You don't even have to talk to us yet.
Right now.
Caleb, HOA is definitely Gestapo.
It is. It's crazy. And they're funny stories, man.
Hilarious.
They're funny stories. And the guys who if you've seen that guy in the movies who's like, well, I didn't make it in the police department, couldn't make it into the military, didn't even
Talking
get.
about Paul Blart.
Yeah, well, he didn't even make mall security. You didn't make mall security, but I did get the officer position at the HOA, and I'm going to take this serious.
Y'all better watch out.
These guys are crazy, man.
I'm policing.
Like, they're studying at night and shit. They're practicing writing
They're in the
tickets.
bushes at night.
They're practicing. They're like, I wrote 3 practice tickets this morning on my mom.
Oh, your mom. That's some bad news. CC, we had an extra 5 added. New versus resale, pros and cons. I'm so confused and I'm ready to buy our home, but so much BS.
New versus resale. I prefer resale almost every time. Almost every time. Because new has a lot of hidden costs that you don't know about. And they're cool. I mean, hey, this is a virgin house. Nobody ever lived in it. Nobody's ever kicked the door in. Nobody's ever seen if there's a foundation crack or a roof leak.
No one grew
or
weed
electrical.
in the garage.
No one grew weed in the garage or crank or whatever.
No one cooked meth in the bathtub.
Nobody kicked meth in the bathtub. We're pretty sure of that. Yeah. So when you move in, I have this buddy of mine who moved into this badass, beautiful house. His first night in there, he's like, hey, there's no window coverings or blinds or anything.
Your buddy sounds
and I
stupid.
gotta take a shower. And I gotta take a shower.
Your buddy's an idiot.
You can't just go get these. You have to measure shit out and install them. So my buddy's like, hey, dude, it was weird as shit because I was wide open to the world and I couldn't even close the door.
Hey, neighbor.
So there's some weird things. There's a lot of hidden costs that you don't know about.
Isaac, how about USDA loans?
Yeah, we love USDA loans. We love them. USDA loans are amazing for the right person and the right property. Here's the catch. For a USDA loan, the property has to be qualified prior to the buyer qualified. What? Yeah, because USDA is property driven, not buyer driven. So we have to make sure this address, you type it into usda.gov, this address works. And after it works, then we qualify you under the USDA underwriting guidelines, and we use something called GUS, which is Government Underwriting System, and we get you qualified for USDA. But USDA is 0 down. How much down? 0 down. Is there MI on USDA?
Yes.
It's not called MI, but there is a little bit.
Version.
So it's guaranteed something. So they're still a little bit, but it's less than FHA, and it's less than sometimes conventional, depending on your current credit score. Cool. How about them USDA loans? We just talked about that. Duh. Well, how about I-10? I-10. Do you do I-10?
No. Do we do I-10? Yes.
Okay, good. You're freaking me out, man. You are
fireworks.
freaking.
See, man,
You
I
are
love my
freaking
response.
me out.
America loves us.
You are freaking me out.
So yeah, we do I-10, man. You got to call us, though. Get the process started.
Yeah.
Here's the phone numbers.
Here's the catch with I-10. They sound like they're regular loans. They're not. They're a whole different category of loan. It's a high-risk loan. Because of that, they want 20% down, and you got to have a high credit score. There's no way that you're going to get a low down payment, low credit score I-10. It just doesn't exist.
Yeah. Hey, guys, help us get to 10,000 likes, so keep punching that screen. Cool Your Brews. Where's that dude Adrian from last week?
I don't know. We want Adrian. Who's Adrian?
Adrian!
No, Adrian. No,
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Maybe he was here when we weren't. All right, this is going to be fun. All right.
All
Let
right.
me read all of them.
Okay, good.
Let me read
All
all
right,
of them.
don't
And
buy.
then, don't buy. Wait. Don't buy. Wait. Wait until next year. Don't do. They are ripping you off. Don't buy. Hold on. There's more here. I'm sure there is. So, Art, don't apply for a home. We are going to get sucked in.
Okay.
You need at least $100,000, a bag of money to buy a house.
Okay.
These guys want to get you into debt.
Okay, Art. First off, respect for being here because we're going to have a little bit of fun with you, Art. Second thing is, do you have it in you to stick around? That's the key.
Or answer questions.
Or answer questions. Because if you do,
need
I
these.
enjoy this, man. I'm like a UFC fighter when some little kid comes in and goes, hey, his techniques don't work. All right, let's see, dude. Get in the ring. Let's find out, Art.
low?
We're going to have some fun with you. We call this good content. So, Art, let's go, buddy. Let's go. In the meantime, we answer everybody else, too.
Yeah, we do. CC goes, okay. John, can you use 401k funds to buy your first home?
John, yes, you can most of the time. There's something called TOW, terms of withdrawal, inside of your 401k. A 401k is a corporate setup qualified asset, which means it's not taxed right now. It's taxed when you retire. So inside of that corporate setup, they have terms of withdrawal, and you can most of the time get money out in order to buy your house. Now, that's different than the IRS. The IRS does allow you a certain amount to buy a house. It's not all your money, but it is a certain amount, and we do a lot of things. A lot of times we use 401k.
Flock Chis said yes. I don't know what that means.
Okay, cool.
Isaac, are USDA loans worth it?
If you have the right property, yes, absolutely. USDA loan is a good loan. It's a very good loan, but it's a very rural loan. Very rural. You have to be out there in the middle of nowhere, and then the USDA will kick in and help you.
Art, how come you never came back?
Yeah, Art, dude. We want to make sure you had the staying power. I don't like to get all warmed up in the ring, get ready to do some UFC badass shit, and then you run away with your tail between your legs. Not fun.
So if you're still there, I want your articulate explanation as to why not. Because you could be right. You could know something that we don't.
Yeah.
I want to know why don't buy. We'll
in
tell
the
you
UFC
why buy.
ring, baby. In the UFC ring,
We'll
let's
tell
go.
you why you should buy. I need to tell you to tell us and everyone why not to buy.
This is a public forum.
Not just cuz.
Yeah, not just cuz. Not because I said so. My tin hat is blocking the infrarays or whatever. Can you break down VA refinance fees? Okay, so you have your bank fee. That's the big one. The bank fee. And then you have your typical, I mean, you can't do every single line item because it'll take us an hour. But you have your bank fee, which is going to range anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000, somewhere in that range. And then, if you're going with a typical refinance and not a VA IRRRL, then you probably have an appraisal fee. You may have to do a termite again. And there's your typical escrow title fee. It should cost you in the neighborhood of $2,000 to $3,500, unless it's an Earl. If it's an Earl, we can skinny that up real tight.
There you go, AP696.
Okay, cool.
Francie, how do you get in contact with your credit department for credit repair? Great question, Francie.
You sound like you want
to
take
it. It's so easy. We've made it simple. You go to the link in the bio, click the button that says Fix My Credit. And then once you do that, follow the steps, and you'll be on the right path of good credit. KK, hi guys.
What's up, KK? Great to see you. You've been with us for like a year or longer.
We
love KK. We love KK.
I love KK. Look at this. Yeah. Wisdom juice.
Okay, cool. Wisdom juice. That's, you know, what's your name? I'm full of wisdom. In fact, it's running off me like juice.
Or in you.
What? Okay.
Uniform commercial codes are vital. Get a land patent book. Get all ODILE title people.
Okay, all right. Wisdom juice. There's some wisdom in there that I don't know how to bring that wisdom in. There's some juice flowing over.
With those juices.
Dude, we just dropped the orange juice on the table. We don't know what to do with it.
I love orange juice.
Experian 628, Equifax 649.
You flexing, Isaac?
Dude, you're like, hey, I got a badass FICO. I'm in the sixes. Yeah, badass. Hey, that's 2 of the 3. But with that, I can tell you that we would use the 628. Why? Because when the lender pulls your credit, we pull 3, Experian, China Union, and Equifax. We get rid of the high, get rid of the low, we keep the middle. So we have to assume that that's the low in the middle, so we have to take the low one of those 2.
Yeah, Mr. Pete, I make 14 G's a year. Can I buy a home?
Yeah, Mr. Pete, you got to call us like right now.
You got to follow that feed.
Right now.
Follow that feed, Mr. Pete.
14K a year. 14K a year. Depends on, you might be a trust fund baby too.
Yeah. Sherry Taylor next year.
Art, you need at least $100,000 bag of money to buy a house. If you got a $100,000 bag of money, Art, buy yourself a profile pic. Because right now you have the blank profile pic, and it's not a good way to really, earn credibility to jump into the UFC ring and get your ass beat by no profile pic. Anyway, buy yourself a profile pic.
Art might be a bot.
It might be a bot. Could be, yeah.
Early Prep Financial. I'm 680, but only make $85,000. I live in Texas. What can I afford? A bike? You can get yourself a good one in Texas.
85 G's?
A good one.
Shoot, 85 G's in Texas? What are we getting in Texas for 85 G's?
Well, I'll tell you right now that if you guys have ever seen the movie Forrest Gump, you remember his mom's house with that wraparound porch? You can get that in South Texas for sure at that income. Yeah,
350. I think you would be probably starting in the range of 350. Could go up from there.
Yep.
And in Texas, 350. I mean, I just was quoting some places in El Paso, Texas. 350 buys you a lot of house. A lot of house. If you go down to Dallas or Houston, in the center, probably not, but in the outer areas, 350 buy you a lot of house in Texas.
Yeah. Isaac, 628, Equifax, or Experian, Equifax, 649, 770K a year. Can I do USDA?
Isaac, probably yes. Probably yes. Remember that you have to have the address first, because when you say, hey, I'd like to qualify for USDA loan, first thing I'm going to say is, cool, what's the address? I haven't picked a house yet. Then it doesn't matter. Because USDA doesn't do every house. They only do specific houses.
Oh, Wisdom Juice is one of those. Read that.
Mm-hmm. They want you in debt with all ODIO title. No federal government can touch an all ODIO. Oh, Wisdom Juice. We're going to have fun. I have this feed. I watch these sovereign citizens that go up against the judge. It's hilarious. They're like, Judge, I don't recognize your authority. I do not recognize it. The judge is like, okay, I understand. Cool. Anyway, we're moving forward. It's like, I don't recognize your sentence. We're like, okay, cool. Police officers, can you please take him back to the jail and let him
recognize?
Yeah, and let him serve his 90 days that you cannot recognize the 90 that you just served also. It's hilarious. Hilarious. I love these guys, man. I love these guys.
I am going to say that I agree with you on the idea that we're a scam system.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
Yeah,
but that being said, there's still things you got to follow in order to live a normal life. Bree Guy, loan amount for $75K, income $335K down, no debt.
So Bree Guy, got bad news for you. Bree Guy, got bad news. Most banks stop at about 80 grand, even 100 grand, somewhere in that range.
Loan amount for $75K income.
Oh, got it.
Or make
okay,
75 G's. How much loan can I get?
Got it. Oh, I thought he was looking for
35K down. He's
35K down. Oh, you're 330, 340, 350, somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
You'll be killing it.
No,
you'll be killing it.
Bree, say this is confusing. Bree sounds like a girl's name, and then they say they're a guy. So
All
Bree
right,
Guy.
cool.
I'm
We're good
confused,
with that.
but I like you.
That's okay. That's okay. We're good with that.
King Mame, I sold my home 3 years ago. Can I get a down payment assistance still?
3 years ago, if it's actually 3 years, probably yeah. The guideline for first time, actually no, yes. The answer is yes. It's just real clear, yes. Can you get a first time home buyer program at 3 years? You qualify for Home Ready and Home Possible. However, you don't need to be a first time home buyer in order to get down payment assistance. You just have to be buying your primary residence, and we have to make Yeah, That's it.
Yeah, trying to get to 10,000 likes, guys, so punch that screen.
Appreciate you guys.
Isaac, how much to close on a USDA?
Well, zero down, but you're going to have closing costs, and there's a upfront funding fee and a few things that will get built into the loan. I would say first you need a good realtor. You also need a great loan officer, someone who really knows what they're doing. And I mean, you might get away with $5K, but I'd probably be more comfortable if you had $10 to $15K in the bank.
Yeah, Lourdes, John, user 92, Cine, thank you for the love. Early Prep Financial, I make $680, or I'm $680, make
I already did that one.
What can I afford in Texas?
This one has a bike on it now. The other one didn't have a bike.
Steven, can I use your company if I live in Florida?
You can not only use our company, you can use him, because he will do your loan in Florida.
Or New York, or Washington, or Illinois,
or Chicago.
Man. How many of them do we do?
We do all 50. Wait a minute. How many?
Wow.
All 50. All 50 states. Most banks don't do New York because it's really difficult. Last month, we got approved to do loans in New York. Hawaii and New York are the two tough ones, but we got approved to do loans in New York.
Elite Gods, can you us FHA for a rental?
Can you us FHA for a rental? I don't know what that means, but clean it up and we'll help you.
Can you buy a fixer-upper with FHA and get a loan to fix it up as well?
So if you're going to live in it, it must be your primary residence. So can you FHA for a rental? There is a small little hack where you can, and that is you buy a 4-unit, you live in the primary, it meets the guideline. There's actually a guideline that says you have to pay 25% or more towards the mortgage, but it meets the guideline, and then these 3 can be rentals, and it can be done. Yes.
Bree Guy said the other score is 671. You're good to go, Bree Guy. You need to call us.
You're good to go, man. We're ready to get you a house today. Okay.
This one's a little silly. Okay. Shannon, one reason not to buy: upkeep and appliances.
All right, Shannon. Yeah, there's a lot of reasons. You know what? The sun may not come up tomorrow. That's another good reason. Russia might take us over. That's a good reason. China's going to hack our electrical grid. That's a good reason. Hey, the San Andreas Fault's going to cut off California, and it's going to change oceanfront property all over the world. That's a good reason. If you're looking for a good reason, sure, the toaster, you don't like the toaster or the refrigerator that you get, that's a good reason.
So you don't want to vacuum and you don't like toasters?
Dude,
I'm
toasters are
confused.
good. Toasters are nice.
I love
do
toast.
I love toast too.
love toast.
I do love toast.
Dead and nap. I have 2.95 FHA, owe 90K worth about 160K. How can I take the money out without changing the rate?
Dead and nap. That 2.95, I would not give that up, man. That's so every time you borrow money, it costs money. And it's just simple. What's the rate? That's the easiest way to figure it out. And if you're at 2.95, that's some very cheap money. I had another client of mine call me and say, hey, Lee, I'd like to take a HELOC out so I can pay off my first. And I said, okay, cool. Your HELOC's at 9%. That'd be great. I'll pay off my first. I'm like, your first is at 3%. Why would you do that? Yeah. No. Remember, there's a cost to borrow money. So keep that FHA at 2.95. If you wanted to do something in addition to that, we can do a HELOC, a cash out refi, and that's about it. Because if we did a full, not a cash out refi, a second mortgage, because if we did a full cash out refi, we get rid of your 2.95 and give you whatever prevailing rate is today.
Raxi Khan, is FHA good for rental properties with 5 down?
FHA is not good for rental properties as a rule. Just as a rule. As a rule, not 5%. FHA is a primary residence. It is not rental. There is a hack in the guideline. If you live in the biggest unit and you pay more than 25% towards the mortgage, you can rent off the other 3. That 25% starting to come into effect a little bit. It is something that we have to qualify you for. However, can be done.
Gina Craig coming with the good questions. How long is the wait once you have an offer placed on a house?
Depends on how good that offer is, Gina Craig. If you offer me $50,000 over what I ask, the wait time will probably be about 30 seconds, and that's only so I can reread it about 3 times.
Like, babe, look.
Yeah. What do we say? I don't know. We'll think about it.
You better call him.
No. So it's a true market. If you went on the market, if this house went on the market for $500,000 and they did an open house and somebody came in and lowballed at 480, if you're the seller, do you want 480? No, you want 500. So you're going to wait. Well, if 10 offers came in, well, then you're like, hey, I think I'll pick one of these. It's just supply and demand market. It's individual to everybody.
Here's the other thing. This is why good agents are important. Good agents aren't always the agent that you love and makes you feel good and you like hanging out with and sharing stories. A good agent tells you exactly what you need to do to sell your house or exactly what you need to do to get your offer accepted. Yeah. So if you have a great agent, you should already have these answers, Gina. If you need a great agent, give us a call.
Yep.
Elite Gods again. $70K a year, $250 a month in debt. What can I buy?
70K. I'm going to say you're starting about 310, 320, depending on how that debt shows up when I pull your credit. Somewhere in that neighborhood, but yeah, let's get going. Let's find out.
Loan officers, kick in. Give us some scenarios. We'll help you guys out.
Yeah. Hey, if you're an LO, by the way, don't hide. We want you. We want to talk with you. Hit us with the guidelines. Hit us with whatever you got out there. If you're a realtor, hey, put yourself out there. I won't even stop you if you're like answering questions. Unless somebody gets really, really disrespectful, I don't block them. If they're disrespectful, you get blocked. You're just off our feed. Go build your own. But if you're not, you want to answer questions and maybe you accidentally get a deal out of it. Good for you. I'm not upset.
This is accidentally a coaching course for some loan officers.
Yeah, and some of them have actually told us, hey, listen, I listen to you because I get the guidelines. And then after you talk, I dig in and I find out what you're talking about and I didn't know before.
Yep. Jaden Sill, $45K a year, debt is $550 a month. How much can I afford? I have down payment of 15 G's.
15 G's, $45K a month. You're probably sitting about $180, $190, somewhere in that range. Yeah, but we have to pull your credit, find out what is the real deal in order to give that.
Dead and nap. I need about 10K to bet on the Lakers to win Denver series.
Dead and nap. I believe you do.
I don't know if I'd bet on the Lakers.
I believe you do.
How do you feel about LeBron?
Yeah. How do you feel about LeBron?
No bueno.
No?
Not a fan.
No.
Flop
okay.
king.
All right.
Brooklyn, 1981. Thank you for the love.
Appreciate you, Brooklyn.
Jude, 740 credit score, 10K down, only student loan debt. How much can I afford?
You didn't give me any income, dude. Jude, you didn't give me any income. Every loan's based off of debt to income ratio. Every loan. Down payment is irrelevant. Yeah.
Give us the data.
Yeah.
Dead and nap. But I really want to use cash to buy investment.
All right. I want you to use cash to buy investment. Dead and nap. I do.
Matthew Delgado, what's a good side hustle? Just saw it on your screen behind
you. You go on that.
Okay, so I'm not going to steer you, okay? Because the top 3 side hustles, here's what they are. Food delivery, transportation, and groceries. Those are your top 3 side hustles. Here's the problem I have with those, okay? This is the challenge that most people are dealing with. Time. You have to take the time to spend in your car to do all these things, whether you're dropping off people, food, or groceries, okay? But those are the top 3, probably highest earning consistently. The reason why I say consistently is because the time you put in is the money you get back. Now, what we do is online digital marketing, which is kind of all over the place. On the low end, you're making hundreds of dollars. On the high end, you're making thousands of dollars. But the reason why we choose it, which is the biggest reason for us, because it's our most valuable asset, is time. Okay, time. So what we do is we provide something called the Roadmap to Riches, which is actually a course from A to Z of exactly how to run this business. So if you have no experience, 0 experience on online digital marketing or this business at all, as long as you have a cell phone, maybe a laptop, you can do this business, and the time investment is much less, and you can make hundreds of dollars a month or thousands of dollars a month. Now, what I'm going to recommend is if you get involved in this, is you do absolutely without any skipping 2 hours a day. 2 hours a day for the first 90 days. Inside of that period, you should have already received some checks. It should have already paid for itself. If you're really dedicating 2 hours a day and following it step by step by step and not stepping in your own way. Some people are too smart for their own good. They get in their own way because they know how to do it better. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
Put it in place the way it's supposed to be, then make your tweaks. Put it in place first. But that's what we do, and if you're interested, go to the link in the bio, click on Side Hustle, get started.
Good job. Elite Gods, can you live in a house for a year under FHA and then buy another house under the FHA and rent the first house? Probably not. Here's why. FHA is for your primary residence. You can live in the house for 1 year because that's the FHA guideline. Then you can rent it. But if you go back and say, hey, I'd like to do it again, they're going to tell you kick rocks. Most of the time, they're going to tell you kick rocks. There's a small little occasion where you can, but most of the time, they're going to tell you kick rocks. So what you have to do is get into that house, FHA. Then, after you live into the house, refinance the conventional, and then you're able to do FHA again. Or better yet, during that time, save a little bit of extra money and go 5% conventional. Pretty much the same thing as long as you got a good FICO score.
Yeah. Zeropod, I have a conventional loan, my primary. What loan can I get to buy a rental?
Oh, good news. You're already experienced with a conventional loan. Experience. So you got experience. You just use a conventional loan. You use a conventional loan to buy your second. That's it. The only loans you can use to buy that, which are in conventional conforming realm, are Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. And the special set of guidelines will say that for the investment property, you're going to need 20% down and reserves and a special of 680 FICO, probably 680 FICO, right?
So hey, bro,
that
you want to see fireworks?
Yeah. Didn't work.
Screw you.
Keep getting outbid. I'm 24, 70. Shit, I lost it.
You're not good at that.
Dude, I lost it.
You're not good at it at all.
Oh, no.
It's all right. It's all right.
I was still further up.
Don't panic.
Further up.
Don't panic.
Try not to panic.
See, guys, we have so many questions that we're trying to get to every one of you. So if you've asked a question, just hang in there. We will get to you. If we don't get to you by the end, we're going to do something called rapid fire, and we're going to get to all the questions.
Yeah. Oh, keep getting outbid. 24, 70 income, 230 mortgage approval. Then, make sure you have a great realtor. That's super duper important. Oh, super duper important. If you want us to double check that that's all you can qualify for, give us a call.
Yeah, the outbid thing, you're probably lowballing. You're probably lowballing. And in some markets, depending on the community you're in, you got to go full price or more sometimes. So factor that. Talk to your agent.
Athena, underwriter here, says they are 100% correct. Go apply today. Athena, we appreciate you. Respect to the underwriters. For those of you who don't know the system, there's the start, which is loan originator. That's what we do. We start the loan. Then you send it to a processor. The processor takes over, and then we lose control of the loan. The processor now processes the loan, and then they clean it up and they hand it to an underwriter. Then they lose control. So there's a way that they make sure that nobody's screwing over the system, and as long as everybody's doing it honestly, works pretty darn well. So we appreciate you for showing up, Athena. Appreciate you very much.
Anyone see the Garcia-Haney fight this weekend?
No.
It was decent. It wasn't great. It was decent. It's a big fight, though. Big fight.
Isaac, do you do soft pull pre-approvals? No, Isaac, no. And your soft pull pre-approval is probably bullshit. Here's why. What is a soft pull? Soft pull means I'm not pulling everything. Usually it's just one trade line. But it can be 3 trade lines with minimum pull. Anyway, I just pull 1 trade line. So I've actually had this happen in the last week. I pull credit. One of the trade lines is 600, one 700, and one is right on the 8 of 800. So the 600 flat does not qualify for Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Does not qualify for Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Only FHA. Now, if my soft pull came in with just this 600, I'm giving you a false positive and a false negative at the exact same time. Now, if I gave you this and then I have to use the mid, that's false too. So the only way you get a real pre-approval is to pull all 3 trade lines.
Yeah. Can we do it? Sure. Do we recommend it? No. But you're the boss, guys. We'll do what you say.
Yeah.
Jesus, do you know why girls are complicated?
Because they need houses, man. They need houses. And if you're not putting your girl in a house, that's going to get complicated.
Not a cage. Zerpod, 57K.
Go there.
Because it's not good. You think it's good?
I don't think it's good.
This guy think okay. Good thing. Zerpod, 57K, but with 40K student debt. Can you buy a house? Dude, what decisions did you make?
57K.
That's a lot of student debt for 57K.
Yeah, that's a lot of, Well, the way the simple guidelines, every loan has a little bit different guideline, but just 1%. So your 40K in student loans is going to cost you $400 a month. So I would do $400 a month. I would take that off. Boom. Then your $57,000 probably drops down to about 46,000. At 46,000, you're probably greenlit for about $160, $170, $180, $190. But I'd have to do a lot more research before I give you a real quote, because I can't give you a real quote. So I pull your credit, calculate your income, check out your assets, and then give you your quote.
And here's something you guys want to take into consideration. You don't have to make the move yet, but I suggest you get the wheels turning and thinking about this. Cosigners. It's so common nowadays with the rates being high, inflation being high, people's income not jumping as high as the prices of houses. So factor that when you get qualified. So qualify on your own, see where you stand, but in the back of your mind, keep grandma, grandpa, aunt, uncle, whoever in the back burner, just in case.
June, have you ever seen or qualified a licensed makeup artist for a loan? Yes.
Yep.
Yes, many times. It's a profession. We're in California, so
Yeah.
it's a
Outside of LA.
Yeah, it's not an unusual job over here. It's a very kind of a big deal job here.
They did us today. How do we look?
Yeah, we did good.
TikTok user. If I inherit a home from a trust and it has a mortgage on it, will it require credit on my report?
Will I acquire credit on my report? No, you have to. The bank did not approve you. The bank approved a loaner. Yeah. The bank approved a borrower. That's it, a borrower. Just because you took over for whatever unfortunate reasons doesn't mean that the bank now approved you to do it. You have to apply for a new loan. Most of the time, the banks will either give you a time frame in which to settle it, or as long as the payments are being made on time, they really don't rattle the cage because they don't want to get involved with the process. That's kind of my experience. Can't speak for your bank, but I've been doing this a long time, and that's usually what I see. If the payment keeps getting made, they're like, oh, you mean the borrower died? Don't know anything about it. Payments keep coming in. I'm good.
Yep. June, considering the makeup artist has trade lines, sufficient FICO, would bank statements or P&L be okay? So June, here's some advice for you. Don't try to figure out the path. We'll guide you down the path. And yes, P&Ls will be just fine because you're self-employed. You're going to show us what you made in 22. You're going to show us what you made in 23. And then you're going to show us what you made year to date with an unaudited. You don't need an audited P&L. So that's the good news for you, June. You're already on the right path. Makeup artists also make six figures. Oh, we know. Good
oh yeah, yeah. There's some makeup artists that make a fortune.
Yep.
I don't know how they make so much. I'm like, how'd you? Good for you. Like, badass.
The one that did Michael Jackson Thriller.
Bank.
Matthew Delgado for more information on that course. What course? This course?
No, he wants to talk. I think he's talking about Roadmap to Riches.
Oh, Roadmap to Riches.
Give him the skinny. Give him the 30-second version.
I just did.
Do it again.
More information. Oh, more information. More information. Okay, so here's what it is. When you do online digital marketing, what does that mean? It means that you're using digital products, cell phones, tablets, computers. Kind of like when you're trying to buy this hat. So you say, hey, Chris, I like that hat. Where can I get that hat? So what I'll do is I'll provide you a link, okay? That link's going to go to Amazon or eBay or somewhere that they sell products digitally online. And with that link, you're going to spend, call it $30, which you'll spend $30 at the store or $30 at the other site. It's $30. But what happens is I have a relationship, not really, I'm just giving you an example, with this company that gives me a piece of it, okay? Because I'm doing the marketing for them, they don't have to do anything. So let's say I make $5 a hat. So when I send you that link, you're buying it for $30, but I'm making $5 on it, okay? That's the money that's coming back to me. All I'm doing is promoting and sharing it, okay? Mm-hmm. Now the roadmap to riches, this is more information, is going to teach you all of this. How to set it up, how to market it, social media, online presence. So all these things that you absolutely need. All you need is the product. Now, if you don't have a product, guess what the product is? Roadmap to riches, okay? So what I do is I help everyone else set up their business so that they can be online digital marketers. And you could do the same because the roadmap to riches has master resale rights, which means you can sell it over and over and over again and earn a commission. So I hope that helps you, man.
Should I do a refi? If I have a commercial rental, ARV 1.2, bought for $660, mortgage $485. Depends on what your goals are. Are you trying to get money out? Are you trying to flip this thing? 1.2 ARV, great going. How long does it take to get pre-approved? It depends on how serious you are. If you're really serious and you want to get into escrow this afternoon, I can probably get you pre-approved in 2 hours. But if you're just sending your documents in, you want to see, it's usually 24, 48 hours, about our turn time right now.
Yeah, we're pretty fast right now.
We're going pretty fast.
Yeah, as long as everything's in, guys, that's the biggest deal. Everyone wants to send in a couple documents, acting like that's all that we need. No, we need.
And by the way, don't hide the 1040. Come on. I've had like 3 borrowers in the last week go like, hey, I gave you my paycheck stubs. I'm like, oh, cool, that's part of it. I need your 1040. Hey, I gave you my W-2. I'm like, okay, that's part of it. I need your 1040. Well, I don't know if I can find it. I'm like, I can't move forward. All right, here's my 1040. I'm like, I know why you didn't give me your 1040 because you thought I was going to get away without looking at this. Are you insane?
We're not the cops.
Yeah, are you insane? I need all your documents. Whatever you did, that's what I don't give a shit. You don't have to give me an answer. You don't have to give me excuse of why you did things. I need to look at the data so I can make a decision so I can move you forward. Very simple.
So look at it this way, guys, because everyone thinks that we are the IRS. We are the cops. We are the decision maker. No, we're the loan officer that's licensed to package this thing. Package it so it'll work. So what you need to do is give us everything, all the truth, just like you would give your attorney. And then we're going to, on the same side of the fence, we're going to fight the other guys to get you a home. Okay? We're on the same side. So give us everything. Be honest. You owe money, you owe money.
You answer this. Are there any special loans or grants for nurses?
Yes, there are the special loans and grants for nurses. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of them for a lot of different people, not just nurses, firemen, cops, police officers, liquor store owners. What this is, guys, is marketing, okay? It's marketing. Do you get a little bit of an advantage? Yes. Do we do them? Yes. Can we do it for you? Yes. But understand this. It's not special. It's actually made for everyone.
Yeah.
So will it give you a down payment? Yeah. Closing costs? Yeah. A little bit better rate? Sure. Maybe pay for your appraisal? Little perks here and there. But the answer is yes, and you need to apply in order to see if you can even qualify. So time for a commercial.
If you need a badass loan, call Badass Loan Officer. You can reach your badass loan officers, Chris and Lee, at New American Funding by dialing the numbers on the screen. Don't do it right now because we're live and we will not answer. But as soon as we're done live, give us a call. So do you guys deal with rental mortgage? Do you guys deal with rental mortgages or just primary? We deal with all mortgages. Rental, second home, different category. Primary residence. Rental homes are different guidelines. Cool. Yes, we deal with it. Nice grunt shirt.
Lucas.
Appreciate you.
Uncle Lucas.
I appreciate you. The grunt shirt right here. Badass.
Uncle Lucas likes your clothes.
Dude,
you got weird uncles.
Whatever.
Elite Gods, should I pay off a collection before applying or getting in touch with a loan officer?
No, you should call us first. You should have your credit pulled because then we can work a strategy together. Strategy.
Yep. So, yeah, let me give you some more on that. So, what's going to happen is we're going to be able to put your whole file together to make sure it's going to work. And then if it doesn't work, you can start paying some debts. But if you pay debts first, you could do 2 things. 1, waste your money because some debts don't need to get paid. 2, drop your FICO score because the way it's reporting and the way it's going to report after it updates may be totally different. So you could hurt yourself if you make moves before talking to us. So give us a call. What do we got, man?
Okay, so what's a good way to better my credit score? Pay your bills on time, have multiple trade lines, don't overextend yourself, And if you want a real fast credit hack, go to mom and dad who've been paying their credit on time for the last at least 10 years and they have an 800 FICO score, and ask them to add you as an owner or authorized user. If they do that, you will inherit their 10 years of paying bills on time. You don't have to use your credit card. You don't have to see the credit card. They will have to call the bank. The bank will pull their credit, and then they'll apply. Then you'll get the opportunity to use their credit. But all you're really trying to do is bump your FICO score.
It's official, man.
What's that?
Official. Art didn't have any balls.
What?
He never came back.
Art left. Yeah. Nope. Ballless Art.
Robbie, rated 6.5. Already have a DSCR loan on it. Get money out.
So if you have a DSCR loan, that's great. It's awesome. But you're going to try and take money out. And based on your profile, because it's an investment property, you are going to need to have a Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac. In order to do that, you're going to need 20% equity in there at a minimum. 20% equity plus all closing costs. And you're going to need reserves, because the Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac guidelines state that you better have this much money in the bank in the event that this goes bad. So can you do it? Yes. But if you're just trying to get money out and you don't already have money, probably a problem.
All right. John L., what documents are needed to apply?
Very simple. Justify your 1040, because your 1040 will trigger some questions. I will eventually need your driver's license, social security card, but not to get you qualified. To get you qualified, I pull your credit, I calculate your income, and then we work on assets. But if you have a high enough FICO score, may not need assets.
User 3388 coming with the good questions. How long do I have to be self-employed to be able to use the income?
So, 2 years. Done. 2 years. 2 years, and you have to prove 2 years. If you're just at the 2-year mark, be ready for the P&L question. You're going to say, hey, I need a P&L that shows up to date. I'm still making money. You're going to go, what is that? Talk to your accountant or your CPA. They'll help you.
What does P&L stand for?
Profit and loss. Got to figure out that you're still making money.
Make money. Island Supreme, 720 score, make $37,000 with a married cosigner at $90,000 combined. What do I get in Long Island, New York?
720, 37K, married, co-center 90K. So you're looking at about a buck, 20, about 20-ish, buck 20-ish, buck 20-ish.
4.
So, 37K, 720. Your 720 is good, and if you're both the primary residents, you're probably looking at 480. Somewhere in that range, right? Did you get that?
Stuff.
Did you say that about 480?
Can you get a house in Long Island for 480?
I don't know if you can get one in Long Island for 480. I don't know.
I've never been there.
Well, I'm working on one right now, 1.2 million. I'm like, holy shit.
Where?
1.2
Long Island?
million? New York. I think it's
New York,
Brooklyn.
New York?
Brooklyn, yeah.
For how much?
1.2 million.
That sounds good for you.
It does sound good for
city.
you, but I'm sitting there going, 1.2 million. That's the low end. What?
That's a one-bedroom apartment?
That's a one bedroom apartment. Yeah, it's
Oh,
actually
man.
a unit with a unit in it.
It's a loft?
Yeah.
Elite Gods. What bank do you guys work with, or how do you get people approved? Those are 2 different questions.
2 different questions. So, first off, New American Funding is a bank. We are a bank. They have trade lines. They are a bank, and they have their own product. But that being said, we work with Wells Fargo. I can sell a Wells Fargo loan. I work with probably 15 other different banks. It's called brokering, but we can broker out. Right now, AmeriHome is kicking our ass on rates for some reason. I don't know why, but when we price things, that's when it comes down to it. I qualify you first by the guidelines, and then all the banks come in and they say, hey, I'll give you this rate, this rate, this rate, this rate. So we price a loan, 15 different banks come up. Usually we're at the top, which means we're the best rate, but for the last week or two, there's a bank out there called AmeriHome that's kicking our ass. So we'll go, hey, listen, I'll get you a better rate with AmeriHome, but we won't service your loan. Or we can go with New American Funding. It's going to cost you another 8th or whatever. So we do about 15 different banks, but we are a bank.
Yeah, Island Supreme. There's a few in Long Island, New York, from 300 to 500. Thank you, guys. You're very welcome.
We're here for you, man.
Do you know why they call Long Island Long Island?
Because it's the long island of the other islands?
It's actually a long peninsula.
Yeah, and there's a shorter one.
I never knew that.
There's a shorter one.
I
That's
never
the Long
looked
Island.
at the map.
Yeah.
But makes sense. Actually, Long Island is a very, what's the word right now? A lot of people are moving into that area right now. With gentrifications going on or something?
What is gentrification? That's a big word. What does it mean?
It's not that big.
Gentrificate. That's a lot of syllables.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
That's a
is
big word.
long
That's a big word. Yeah, can you
Yes.
spell it?
No, I don't want to.
I didn't want
I don't
to.
feel like it. We don't have enough time.
I don't want to either.
Seriously, we don't have enough time.
We don't have enough time.
But gentrification, what is it? Okay, so you got families who've lived in this property for years. Let's say they bought houses for $30,000 in the 60s and the 70s. Okay, grandma and grandpa been there forever, and now these houses are worth $500,000 to $1 million a piece. So what happens is, who makes $500,000 to $1 million a piece today? Well, high earners, probably people that drive nice cars, probably people that dress well. So that group of people starts moving in, and grandma and grandpa start leaving. That's gentrification.
So, yep, it happens all over the place. It's just part of life. Yeah. Does income from 2 years ago affect amount approved? I made way less 2 years ago. Talk to your loan officer. Here's why. It can if you're on an extension. Because you have to file your taxes April 15th. Yay. Okay, cool. But if you didn't, then I have nothing to go off. I don't have a 1040 because you're on an extension. And because I don't have a 1040, I can't ask you for 23. I have to ask you for 22 and 21. And then I have to go off of that income. In that situation, that's going to hurt you because I got to factor those two in. If you filed your taxes already, then the last two that I can look at are most important. But if your loan officer knows this, then I would say, cool, get me your W-2 from 23, get me your most recent paycheck stub, and I'm going to try and ignore 21 anyway. So,
and also, if you got raises during those times, if you're an hourly employee making 40 hours a week, and let's say you were making $25 an hour, now you're making $50 an hour, we can use the higher income. Also, if your salary and you went from hourly, which was less, to salary that's becoming more, we can use that base salary. So there's some good upside for you if you're really making a lot more than you were a couple years ago.
Elite Gods, do you have clients that come back consistently for rental mortgages? Yeah, the answer is yes. We got clients that come back. Once they figure out that we know what we're doing, they stick. And believe me, there's a lot of loan officers that are trying to undercut us all the time. But they didn't make it. And you know what? I'm going to shed a tear for them. Can we get a moment of silence for all the loan officers that didn't make it? Ready? That was it. Okay, we're done. It's too bad for them. They couldn't make it. And yes, they come to us all the time.
Yeah.
What's the current interest rate for a duplex conventional investment property? I have an 800 credit score. KRDU. Crudo 09. So here's the catch. I'm going to tell you what New American Funding is telling everybody right now. They are telling everybody 15-year fixed, 6%. What? Unbelievable. 6%. Yes. They are telling everybody FHA 30-year 6.25%. What? Unbelievable. That's what they're telling everybody. 6.25 on a VA 30-year fix. Don't believe me? Go to the top where it says links. Go to Cool Stuff, today's rates, and you will see what I'm seeing. But here's the catch. If you really have an 800 FICO, you are gold paper. Everybody wants you. Everybody. So you're going to get the best of everything. Now, if that duplex is when you're trying to move in and you're going to take the primary residence, you're going to get the best rates out there. If you're trying to buy a duplex as an investment property, doesn't matter how great your FICO score is, 20% down. I might be able, with an 800 FICO, maybe 15. And there'll be some banks who say, hey, listen, I can do it with 10%. They're doing an 80-10-10, which means you're borrowing 10 here, you're still putting 10% down, but you are 10% with a second mortgage, 80% with a conventional conforming. There are ways to do this with an 800 FICO score. The world's your oyster, and we are here to help you. But here's the one part that breaks our heart every single time. You know what that time is? Time that we have to say, we've been Chris and Lee. We appreciate you. We are out.
I'm Chris, that guy that just left his Lee.